Hey everybody, before we get into today's show, obviously I wanted to share with you what we have going on over at Equalife. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you've been dealing with any bloating or gas or constipation, loose stool, any digestive-based symptoms, what we're offering right now is your ability to take 20% off any of these healing gut-based protocols and products. So maybe you've had your eye on the CBO protocol and you're looking to improve your overall candida or bacterial balance. That is the protocol for you, used tens of thousands of times with people all over the world and used by thousands of practitioners as well inside of their practice. Or you might be looking at the daily probiotic support for everyday use, or the clean gut probiotic if you've dealt with some antibiotics over the last few months, or your gut hasn't just been feeling the same as it's used to. Or you might want to look at the healthy gut support, which is to help with inflammation, healthy levels of inflammation, and healing and sealing that gut wall. All those four and many more you can check out right now and save 20% by going on over to stevencabral.com/shop. Check it out for all the details while supplies last. Now, let's head on over to the show.
Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified doctor of naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today, brand new Cabral Concept, episode 2931. If you want to check out all the details, I'll give you the three big takeaways right at stevencabral.com/2931. We're going to be going over a major weight loss intermittent fasting mistake that I see over and over in my practice, and it's one of the reasons why people don't necessarily believe in intermittent fasting, or they don't use it as effectively as they could. So I want to break it down for you pretty quickly here today. But what I want you to think about is this, that in order to lose weight, there's always a first starting place. So the first starting place is that we need to burn more calories than we take in, right? So that's the calories in, calories out. And you know I'm not the hugest component of that, but it's at least the first place to start. I want to explain that, and then I want to break it down a little bit further. So we need to do what? Well, we need to either eat less than we're eating on a daily basis in order to lose weight. That's energy, right? So we need to take in less energy, or we need to expend more energy. How would we expend more energy? We would go out for a jog, a bike. We would do a weight training based workout. We could do hill sprints. We could do walking, additional walking, and we could burn more calories. I'll tell you how much more you need to burn in just a moment. Okay, so that's the simplest version. It's actually a big mistake that people are making right there when they go into intermittent fasting. So I will say that calories in, calories out is not the end all be all, especially in our practice. And the reason is we work with some pretty complicated cases, meaning we work with people with lowered thyroid. We work with people with elevated levels of cortisol or estrogen dominance. We work with people with insulin desensitivity. We work with people with low levels of vitamin D and other hormone-based issues. So all of those things matter as well, because what happens is other proponents of calories in, calories out will just say, well, you just need to continue to eat less. And that is true. Like if you take your calories down to like 500 calories a day, sure, you'll lose weight. There's no doubt about it, but you are wrecking your metabolism in the same way. So I can't recommend that. However, you need to start there. And it does work actually even more effectively with intermittent fasting, as long as you're doing it correctly and not under eating, starving yourself, or skipping meals. I'm going to go over that right now. So when we think about this with intermittent fasting, let's just say that you're eating 2,500 calories per day, okay? So you're eating 2,500 calories per day, and before maybe you were eating them over like 5 meals or 6 meals or a couple of snacks. Let's say 3 meals and 2 snacks. Okay, so you're eating your 2,500 calories over those 5 meals or 5 meals, like I said, and 2 snacks, and maybe they were all around 500 calories. All right, no problem. So now you move to, let's just say the same 5 meals, but you restrict your window. So now you're only eating from, let's say oftentimes people will do 12 noon to 8 o'clock at night. I don't believe that you should do that. I have other shows on that. You can find at stevencabral.com/IF, very specific scientific research on why you probably don't want to skip breakfast. But again, that's neither here nor there for today's show. Okay, so let's say between 12 and 8 that you're eating your 2,500 calories, and you're maybe eating at 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then 7:30 or so at night. All right, so you're between your 12 and 8, and then you have your snacks in between those meals. Now, you're taking your 2,500 calories, and what you've done is you've just put them between 12 and 8. And so you're intermittent fasting now for a longer period of time, but you can't seem to lose the weight. And you're probably not losing the weight while doing intermittent fasting because you also brought along the same amount of calories with you. Having said that, a percentage of people, believe it or not, will actually lose more weight intermittent fasting, even eating the same amount of calories, but not for everyone. And I don't see this as much specifically with women. And I see many women who skip breakfast begin to really lower the metabolism, namely increasing cortisol production and decreasing thyroid. But again, I have other shows on that. So what I want you to think about first is this. I'm going to actually take you through essentially 5 ways to, in order, the best way to be able to lose weight with intermittent fasting. And it's going to start with this. First, track the amount of calories that you're eating per day. I know that it's boring. I know that it's not even it's certainly not a sexy way in order to be able to lose weight. But here's the thing. It matters. And you don't need to do it forever. You only need to do it for like 5 days, honestly. Track it from, let's just say, a Wednesday through a Sunday. That's what I would do. I wouldn't do your Monday, Tuesday, which can sometimes be better. Track the whole weekend. Track your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just track everything. You can use, there's so many free apps out there in order to be able to track your calories. So just pick your favorite one and just track all of your calories. It doesn't even need to be macros and micros. Honestly, it can just be total calories for right now. You're welcome to track your macros. It's pretty easy to do inside of these apps, but track that. And you'll see that not every day is exactly the same. Right? So if you only track one day, it's not going to be helpful. You really want an average. Okay. So if you say this is just typically how, now don't eat better, right? If you go back to Monday's show, you'll know why this doesn't work for most people, right? It's called the Pygmalion effect. And the reason is they'll start to eat better knowing that they're tracking themselves, right? So it's the observer and the expectancy. So you can't do that. You have to eat like normal, or even better, you probably won't be able to remember, but if you can go back and you can remember what you ate on a typical Saturday, a typical Sunday, you'll put all that in with your Wednesday through Friday information. And the weekends, maybe you're eating like 4,000 calories a day because you're going out to dinner. And believe it or not, when you go out to dinner, it's pretty easy to eat a couple thousand calories, especially if there's alcohol or mixed drinks involved. Okay, so we want to put that in there. Maybe during the week, you're eating, 200 calories or so on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, or maybe 4,000 calories. And then on Sunday, I don't know, maybe it's around 3,000, 3,200 because you have one larger meal in there and then just a couple normal meals. Okay, so your average might be around 3,000 calories, right? You're like, whoa, 3,000 calories. I never thought that, because you're really thinking about Monday through Friday, but you're not taking into account the weekend and alcohol and mixed drinks and all those different types of things. The reason I keep going back to mixed drinks is that once you add in the sugary drinks, like in a margarita, it just jumps up. It skyrockets, double the amount of calories per drink. So now you can go from like 120 to 150 calories for like a typical drink just with alcohol. And then what you do is you double that with these mixers. So, I mean, you drink 3 drinks and you're already at more than 1,000 calories, which can be, pretty outrageous, but still the truth. And that's just from liquid alcohol. So, all right, let's keep going here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to track our calories. The next thing we want to do is don't go on a crash diet. Just don't go on a crash diet. There is no need to drop your calories more than I'm just going to give you in just a moment when you're first starting out. So no crash diet. Actually, the first thing I want you to do is just skip the snacking. That's all that I want you to do. So now, and again, I don't recommend the 12 to 8, but let's just say you were doing the 12 to 8. Do your 12 o'clock, your 3:30, do your 7:30 or so meal. However you want to do it, 12, 4, and 7:30, that would be fine. So if you're doing it that way, okay, totally fine. But get rid of the snacks. That's it. And if you want, you can even take the calories from the snacks and move them to, let's say, your first 2 meals. Not an issue. And you can still eat the same amount, okay? So that's what you want to do. But we're going to share with you now in a moment why. Again, if you keep eating the same amount of calories, you're most likely not going to lose any weight. But that's okay, because we're just starting this particular study on yourself, right? So first, tracking all the calories. Next, don't go on a crash diet. After that, split all of your calories, but just into 3 meals. Why? So you can let your blood sugar drop down back to normal, to baseline between meals. So important. I have a podcast on, it's actually called Why 3 Meals Per Day. We can link that up for you here today. All the big takeaways, all the previous podcasts, and the whole intermittent fasting category, I will put at stevencabral.com/2931 today. All right, so the next thing we want to do is this. After we skip the snacking, we're going to actually reduce are calories. How many calories are going to reduce it by? If you are under 2,500 or so calories per day, no need to drop your calories by $500 calories per day quite yet. Okay. You don't need to do that quite yet. And here's why. You are taking let's say you're at 2,000 calories. You're taking yourself down now immediately to 1,500 calories. You're probably not going to feel as satiated on that yet. Why not drop it by 250 calories, 300 calories maximum, and simply take out 100 calories over 3 meals? It's so much easier. 100 calories is just about 1 tablespoon of an olive oil or an avocado oil or a healthy fat. That's it. So you can, if you're using like 3 tablespoons of olive oil at a meal, just go down to 2. But 2 and like a quarter you can still have. It's the easiest way to drop calories is just a little bit of that fat. And you're not going to miss it. You're honestly not, because that's also not as satiating. A tablespoon of olive oil is not as satiating as the meat, the fish, the beans, whatever it is that you're eating that's going to give you a little bit more satiated. You can eat cups of broccoli and it's not going to equal that, right? So really important that we look at it there. Now, if you're eating over 3,000 calories per day, if that's your average, then yes, that will matter. So you can drop it by 500 calories at that point, because you're still only dropping it now down then to 2,500 calories at the very lowest. So you're still going to get in plenty of your micros, plenty of all the macros that you need as well. This is a very simplistic, easy way to do it, but I want to give you one more bonus tip. I'm probably going to do a whole show just on this. Whatever your timing is for intermittent fasting, I have lots of shows on that. Make your dinner eventually your smallest meal of the day if possible. Now, smallest meal of the day could be by volume, sure, but let's try to reduce it in terms of energy, right? Because you're about to go to bed in hopefully a couple hours from then, right? So let's reduce in terms of energy, which is calories. That means we need to decrease total input at that meal. So you can still eat the same number of calories if you choose to, move those calories more to your first and second meal. So what I would say is this. The easiest way to do this at dinner is to increase the volume of vegetables. So you'll still feel satiated. Eat 2 to 3 cups of vegetables with dinner. Maybe even a little side salad as needed, and a fair amount of protein. That protein will keep you satiated. The vegetables are going to keep you feeling full. A little bit olive oil or half an avocado, and you should feel pretty good. And remember, you've already eaten 2 meals before that. So this differs based on, did you just exercise before? Like, there's a lot of different factors. But for your average everyday person, which is of course what we work with in our practice, what we want to make sure is that you're setting yourself up for success and that you're not going overboard. There is absolutely no need to go on a crash diet. It is so much better to take all of your calories, then instead of 5 meals, move them to 3 meals, and then besides that, start to bring in your intermittent fasting, then see how you're doing with intermittent fasting in a 12 to 16 hour window. Then you're going to reduce your calories, but not over reducing, 250 calories per day on average for the first week to 2 weeks. See how you do. You can always reduce more, right? And then after that, start to front load more of the day, not so much at the evening based meal. You'll start to see better sleep at night, better recovery, and your blood sugar won't be as high going into bed as well. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, there's all sorts of nuance around this. And I know people are going to say, well, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm an athlete. Yes, this isn't necessarily applying. It is applying for all of the practitioners, all of the everyday people out there listening to the show who want to improve their overall health and body transformation. This is going to make a difference. As always, everybody, if this was helpful, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it could serve. And of course, I'll be back each and every day with a brand new Cabral concept. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you listening right to the end. I always try to share with you something that I believe that you're going to love. And this week, we are giving 20% off all gut-based protocols, all health gut-based protocols. That means if you've been thinking about using the CBO protocol to help improve your overall digestion or yeast or bacterial imbalances, this is the protocol for you. Or you might be looking at the daily probiotic support, the clean gut probiotic, or maybe something like the healthy gut support, which helps to heal and seal that intestinal based wall. whatever you're looking for, we have those 4 products plus many more on sale at 20% off. Very rarely do we do sales outside of our semi-annual sale. This is one not to miss. If you're dealing with bloating, gas, constipation, loose stool, etc., you can get to the underlying root cause, or you can begin to use these specific protocols that we've used with thousands of people all over the world. Head on over to stephencabral.com/shop for all the details.